Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It is my great pleasure as the Dean of the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences to welcome all of you. We are so glad that you are here. As first-year pharmacy students, you will be called P1s. You are embarking on an exciting path. We pledge to educate and prepare you to become patient-centered pharmacists who will practice at the top of your license. When you graduate from here in 4 years, you will be prepared to take any path in the field of pharmacy that you are drawn to and excel. With the latest in technology at our disposal, you will be on your path to becoming Doctor of Pharmacy. You will become familiar with cutting-edge facilities as you focus on evidence-based, patient and person-centered care. You will learn from our highly accomplished faculty who are leaders both in pharmacy education and in pharmaceutical sciences research. These faculty are all actively practicing in their areas of expertise. And also at the same time, you will learn from each other. You will have opportunities to participate in research along the side of our faculty and to work in teams with nursing, social work, public health, and medical students through our really distinguished interprofessional education program. These experiences will prepare you for your clinical experiences and for the ever-evolving world of modern healthcare. As you don your white coats, we welcome you to the field of pharmacy and to the Binghamton University School of Pharmacy, Pharmaceutical Sciences. Class of 2027, thank you for choosing us. I want to thank piano player Colin Dillop. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Harvey Stenger, President, Binghamton University.
Thank you, Raju. Welcome to our new students, to your families and friends who are here to join you. Certainly welcome and thank you to the faculty and staff on the stage that are going to be a huge part of your lives over the next 4 years. Probably several of you families drove a little bit this morning, might have had to get up early. I like getting up early, even on a Saturday morning. There's that quietness that you get in the morning time that you can't get the rest of the day. Catch up on all those emails that I didn't answer yesterday afternoon. Making sure that I was prepared for the remarks that I was going to give today. Also, a couple other things I'm going to go to today where I'll be speaking. But I also had another task on my list. I was going to make some pickles this morning. I had these cucumbers from my garden. And they were in my refrigerator, and I was just worried that they weren't going to make it. I better do something with them. So I made pickles. I've made a lot of pickles before. You need to boil vinegar with some ingredients in it. Then you soak the cucumbers, slices with this mixture, and then you can chill them or you can can them. There's lots of ingredients. There's turmeric, there's salt, vinegar, celery salt, mustard, and sugar, one of the most important ingredients. And so I said, I never remember exactly how to make this, so I'll go online and I'll look it up. And you get to one of those websites that they just drag it out and drag it out and drag it out because they want you to read all the advertisements. And finally, I just started searching the word ingredients in there, and I got to the ingredients, but by then I was a little frustrated. So I knew what the ingredients were. And I've made it before, and I said, I think I can play this by ear now. But I said, no, I better not, because that could be a disaster. Because if you don't have the ingredients, you don't even bother. You can't make pickles. This is going somewhere, I promise. But if you make them wrong, not only do you not have pickles, you have a mess on your hands. For instance, if you were to boil the vinegar with the cucumbers in it, that would be pretty bad, because those cucumbers would just turn into mush. So what's the analogy here? Why is that important? It's the same thing with what we've done here with pharmacy. We knew we needed ingredients, lots of good ingredients, excellent ingredients. And so we have a brand new building. That's a few years old, but still essentially a brand new building. We have a great staff and faculty, more than 50 faculty and staff on board to help you with your path to the PharmD. We have over 800 preceptors out there in practice, waiting to help you learn how to be a pharmacist in practice. We have a great dean. We have great assistant deans. We're going to have an R&D building right next to it that you'll be participating in, I'm sure, during your 4 years. But those are just the ingredients. You also need the right process, the right steps. And I do remember when we put together the curriculum several years ago, we made sure that this curriculum was the best PharmD curriculum in the country. It wasn't just going to be another can of pickles. And we worked really hard at that. Now, the results, well, I got a couple pickles here. Let's see how they taste. Crunchy. No? Not as sweet as I like them, but they're pretty good. I'll save some for later. But look at the results. 98% of our graduates last year, 98% in a survey, external survey, said if they had to do it over again, would they choose the school that they went to? And 98% said yes. That means there's probably only one person who said no. And then as you know and as you will learn, matching during residency is very important, especially if you want to be a specialist. And last year, 96% of our students were matched, the highest in the United States for any PharmD program. So, pickles are good by themselves. They're okay. But after a while, it gets a little boring, and you need to add some other things to it. Now, I have not ever made popsicles out of my pickles, but that's a possible way to go. But we think the same way with pharmacy. We need to make sure that they're integrated, they're mixed with other programs on campus like biomedical engineering, psychology, chemistry, also the medical students from upstate, our nursing school, and of course the R&D building, which is a place that you will spend some time, as well as the local health providers, Lourdes and UHS. And then probably the thing that I focus on the most is our community. We are located in a village. It's called Johnson City. It's not a city, it's a village inside of a town. And it was a desperate place when I got here. Abandoned factories, abandoned homes. But it was an opportunity to ask the New York State legislatures for the funding to build a state-of-the-art building there. And they trusted us, and they let us do that. And since that beginning of that project, more than $500 million of public and private money has been invested in Johnson City, a village of only 16,000 people. And it is changing Johnson City. So I hope that as you're taking time in between classes, that you'll walk that 2 or 3 blocks down to Main Street, have a cup of coffee at Soul City, have a vegan lunch at the Grapevine, and be part of a community that is now our project as well as your project. So, good luck. Congratulations on being here, and I will see you around campus, I'm sure. Thank you. It's my privilege to introduce Donald Hall, our Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs.
I made no pickles this morning, but I'm suddenly hungry for pickles. Okay. It is my great pleasure to be here today to congratulate you on your admission to Binghamton University's School of Pharmacy, Doctor of Pharmacy program, and to witness this important rite of passage for the class of 2027. I'm also delighted that your families are here and your loved ones are here, and they can share this day with you. I'd like to ask you to join me in a round of applause for all those people who are here supporting you. Thank you. I am sure that you are nervous, but also very excited to embark on your journey toward the Doctor of Pharmacy degree, as you should be. In 4 years, ones that I'm sure will fly by for you, you will enter a profession with unlimited opportunities, a profession whose scope of practice is evolving and expanding on an almost daily basis. Healthcare is America's largest industry, and you are positioning yourselves to be part of the dramatic changes it is undergoing. You are about to begin your training to work as members of healthcare teams to provide better patient care, to extend that care to underserved and vulnerable populations, and to do it in a most and more cost-effective manner. You'll be part of the solution to America's healthcare crisis. Once licensed, you may find yourself working at a community pharmacy, administering immunizations, advising patients and their physicians on medications and their interactions, working in a hospital or clinic as part of a team of professionals caring for patients, or working in a drug discovery or drug discovery or education at a pharmaceutical company. The possibilities before you are rich and exciting. You're taking a big step today, beginning a challenging program that will test your stamina, commitment, intellect, and compassion. We know that you have everything you need in order to succeed in it. Your academic preparation and character have been assessed by our faculty, who believe that you will flourish here at the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences and in the profession. Congratulations on the hard work and accomplishments that have brought you here today. Please accept my very best wishes for your success in the years to come. And with that, I want to welcome up here Mac McCall, co-chair and clinical professor of pharmacy practice, to introduce our keynote speaker. Thank you and congratulations.
Welcome, Binghamton University Doctor of Pharmacy students. We've already had a class together this week as you begin your journey as a student pharmacist, and today it's my privilege to present our white coat speaker for the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences class of 27. Dr. Karen Williams is a pharmacy clinical specialist at Guthrie Robert Packer Hospital in Sayre, Pennsylvania. Dr. Williams is a clinician, a leader, a teacher, and a trusted colleague of the School of Pharmacy. As a clinician, Dr. Williams is a board-certified pharmacotherapy specialist with advanced qualifications in infectious diseases. She was awarded the Guthrie Robert Packer Pillars of Excellence Award for her sustained impact on patient care teams more than 20 years in settings such as internal medicine, hematology-oncology, pain management, and critical care. As a leader, she directs the PGY1 residency program and is the lead pharmacist for the antimicrobial stewardship program for the Guthrie Health System. The impact of her leadership was recognized by the Dr. James Tye Memorial Award for her continual focus on quality improvement at Guthrie. As a teacher, she is a passionate preceptor and adjunct faculty member of Binghamton University. Dr. Williams was recognized as the BU School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences Class of 21 Preceptor of the Year for her outstanding service to students as a clinician educator. And as a trusted colleague, Dr. Williams has partnered with the pharmacy program since the beginning of our school to develop innovative ways to layer students into practice. She has frequently volunteered for our career fairs, lectured to classes of pharmacy students, supported hands-on learning in our skills labs. We are honored to have Dr. Williams join us on this special occasion. What a beautiful day, as our new students in the class of 27 don their white coats and begin their professional journey as pharmacists in training. Please welcome to the podium Dr. Karen Williams.
Thank you for the introduction, Dr. McCall. Thank you, Dean Nagaraju, President Stenger, Provost Hall, for inviting me here today to speak to you. And a big thank you to Amanda Padua and JJ Bryce for your help in getting me ready for today. To all of you, hello, welcome, family, friends, faculty, staff celebrating with us here today. Thank you for being here. To the students, I see your bright, happy faces, nervous there on the front row. I'm honored to be one of the first to congratulate you on being here today in this big moment in your career. I'm so excited to celebrate with you what it is that this white coat represents. It's a validation of why you're here, the hard work that it took to get here, the promises that you've made to yourself, to your family, and your friends for the things that you want to accomplish. Some of you may know exactly what your path is going to hold, but for most of you, it's probably a dark unknown of what's to come. And you've heard a lot already about some of the potential for what's ahead. Today, I intend to assure you that this dark unknown is not permanent. Most importantly, I hope to inspire you. It's kind of what I love most about my job and why I am one of the first ones that says, yes, I'm coming to that career fair. I don't care if you're a P1 or a P4, come talk to me. I want to encourage you to draw on the reasons that you're here, to stay innovative, to keep learning, to keep teaching others, and to keep going. You're apt to change the world. I grew up in rural upstate New York, about 60 miles from here. I was raised on our family dairy farm. My father, the farmer, and my mother, a pianist, they taught us some of the very key lessons in life. Among them, work hard, but also work smart, stop and savor along the way. Be adaptable, because change can be beautiful. Be kind, learn something new every single day. For me, I was one of those students that enjoyed math and science, but I was also pretty good at a lot of other subjects, and I enjoyed a lot of other subjects. But at the end of high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I grew up. So my mom and dad taught me that hard work, while it's hard, it often brings big rewards. At the end of a hot June day, without a cloud in the sky, when you're able to look back on that golden, freshly harvested field from atop a wagon of hay, you can relish that feeling of accomplishment. Your sore muscles screaming at you, but you can see what it took to get there. That sense of accomplishment, that sense of, I did that, it's a powerful one. The taste of a tomato that you cultivated and nurtured, or a cucumber. It's even sweeter because of what it took to make it, to get it there. The sound of fleur-de-lis is stunning as it rolls off of your fingers without you even realizing you made your fingers move because of all the time and practice and effort you had gotten to your fingers to know that. And no, don't ask me to do it today. Mother Nature was a powerful force on the farm. You can try to predict it, you can even try to control it, but really, you're at nature's mercy. We learn to expect that plans will change and to work with what we're dealt. It cultivated our innovation, our tenacity, and our grit. Vacation plans may not always have gone the way that we planned, but when the summer day opened up because of an unexpected rain shower, it allowed an impromptu trip to Tanglewood, where we got to go watch the Boston Symphony Orchestra play. Or when trudging through snow on the way to the barn in the deep midwinter to start the day's chores by fixing parts that refused to move because it was so cold. The bite in the air and of reality was balanced by that awe-inspiring view of the crisp stars above. Farmers often become their own resource with many specialized skills. Without a lot of income, necessity leads to learning trades and filling roles to solve problems, engineer more efficient solutions, keep operations moving for another day. They're electricians, carpenters, plumbers, vets, mechanics, and so much more. Farmers truly are jacks of all trades. And while the farm kept us close to home, we often had friends and relatives visit the farm from distant places from around the world. We would open our home to visitors, sharing the experience of living there with them and asking them about their life perspective, their experiences, their stories. In the brief vacations we were able to take, we drove all over the US in about 3 short days, just trying to enrich our experience. So for necessity and for that enrichment, my sisters and I were taught that the wonder of learning new things existed. We were also taught the importance of kindness. I'll never forget a fall day. A man stopped in front of the farm, and he was selling apples from a truck that I swear to gosh, it was more rust than paint. And it was missing a lot of key parts. My dad not only bought a bushel of apples from him, but he also dug through his supplies and found a gas cap to give this man for the piece that was missing. Witnessing that made an impact on me. You see, we lived on a 1,000-acre dairy farm in upstate New York. And if you aren't from upstate New York, you might not understand, but that means we had very little income, but a lot of apple trees. It was fall. And a lot of stores of resources. I loved seeing my dad share freely what he could. I learned to stop and take a mental picture of the hayfield and the accomplishment of a day's work, to stop in the bitter cold and look up at the stars and contemplate how big the universe was. I experienced joy as we wandered around the grounds of Tanglewood after a concert on a warm summer night, and I learned to pay it forward with what I had. As I moved off to college, I was challenged to remember to learn something new every day. Why do I tell you all of this? Because that background heavily informs my life as a professional in the world of pharmacy. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up, but was intrigued by the suggestion from my parents to consider pharmacy. Before choosing to be a pharmacist, I did get a chance to speak with a couple pharmacists in my town, and they helped me to understand the path and the potential. The first was an owner of an independent pharmacy in my hometown. He was also active in a New York State Pharmacy Association, and through that had a broad understanding of the variety of careers that were available. As we stood behind the counter of his store, he talked about a lot of the other opportunity beyond that space. Pharmacists could be found working as advocates and lawyers in drug information, government, management, working with computers, insurance, contracts, become specialized in a field, or work in hospitals, big or small. The other pharmacist I spoke with was one at our small hospital pharmacy. She worked part-time and had 2 small children, and loved that she still commanded the respect of her peers and colleagues while having time to be able to live comfortably off of her wage and have time with her children and to explore the hobbies that she loved. When I started pharmacy school, I still wasn't sure that pharmacy was going to be my lifelong path. I went there thinking, okay, I could transfer out. But I was still fascinated by the prospect of learning how it was that even though we couldn't see it working, medicine could heal and soothe. I didn't really realize how very wide open the opportunities were until a few years into my pharmacy school. Alas, for me, it led to even more confusion. But I did decide that I wanted to keep my options as open as possible. At the time, I was an Albany grad. Albany was graduating entry-level pharmacists with BS pharmacy degrees. I learned about the changing landscape of the profession, with entry-level doctorate degrees starting in the West and down in the Southeast, and they were slowly working their way here toward the Northeast. I wanted to keep myself marketable, so I signed on for the dual PharmD BS pharmacy degree. I finished 7 years of school in 6. I spent hours on clinical rotations in hospital libraries, reading papers and marveling and being just overwhelmed by how absolutely more there was to learn, and I knew only a very small piece of it. I was in awe of my preceptors, who seemed to know so much and made it look so easy. I realized that to stay a step ahead, to keep my options open, I would need to pursue more training. I learned that residency-trained pharmacists got the advantage of extra time in educational environments, practicing critical thinking skills, building broader, deeper knowledge, and exploring to figure out what they wanted to do when they grew up. I'd spent years learning from my professors in Albany, and I enjoyed my rotations outside of Albany, seeing how practice varied in different parts of the country. I had been at the NIH and at Strong Memorial in Rochester, and I had spent time at smaller community hospitals. I spent time in managed care. I figured out that I thrived on inpatient and outpatient teams, caring for patients shoulder to shoulder with my interdisciplinary colleagues. I sought out next steps that allowed me to deepen these skills. I joined a primary care pharmacy residency through the University of Iowa, and I remember thinking how I'd seen how it was practiced in the Northeast. I wanted to go someplace else. And in fact, in Iowa, that was where the concept of care of the whole patient blossomed, the birthplace of pharmaceutical care. I figured that was a pretty good place to go and learn how it could be done. So for a year, I was embedded there in a family medicine clinic with my preceptor. She instilled in me that one of the greatest ways that we were different from our physician colleagues was that our in-depth training in pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics gave us a broader understanding of what was going on. You know, the physicians could look up half-life and they thought they knew what that meant, but for us it went far beyond that. We had an understanding of details like ionization and protein binding and volume of distribution and elimination rates and so much more. With that dynamic group in Iowa, they really embraced and optimized the skills that my program director and myself provided. And I saw the benefits of the pharmacy profession on a daily basis, the benefits that they could bring to patient care. Family medicine, you know, caring for patients of advanced age and delivering babies alike, maintaining health in ambulatory care clinics, while also inside in the hospital caring for acute illness, that allowed me to practice across the spectrum of disease and age. I took care of 100-year-old men with heart failure and babies in the NICU and everything in between. Being in a training program where we did statistics on the board during journal club, yeah, we did that. I really learned every day. It was always something new. The program director of the medical residency used to teach me that as pharmacists, we were like physicians in the way that we had many important hats, including teacher, clinician, leader, and importantly, student, forever. From Iowa, I remembered a place that I had been as a student. Guthrie Robert Packer Hospital had struck me as a friendly place with an atmosphere that reminded me an awful lot of the open embrace paired with constant learning that I had trained in as a resident in the Midwest. While the care pharmacists were legally able to provide wasn't quite at the same level I was used to in Iowa, I saw a place where opportunity at an incredible level existed. So I moved back east and have been here ever since. Been there ever since at Guthrie. It was sometime in my first year at Guthrie when a friend from pharmacy school was on rotation with us there. I remember them looking at me with these big, wide eyes, exclaiming, "How do you know so much?" Whoa. That was a huge surprise because I suddenly felt like something had shifted. I still felt like I had so much to learn, but how could they look at me this way? And that's when I realized that this journey of learning is something that happens under a cover of darkness. You don't even know it's happening. But it taught me to stop and reflect and then keep going. At Guthrie, I've continued to explore. As the needs of the organization shifted, so has my focus. I was hired in the era of budget-busting EPOE and Alpha. My experience as a pharmacy student working longitudinally with nephrology patients was valuable experience to address budget woes. My experience on learner teams as a student and resident translated perfectly to this teaching hospital where pharmacists rounded on inpatient care teams, adding their knowledge to that of our colleagues. I'm fortunate that my embrace of change and love of learning has also been helpful at Guthrie. As a medium-sized rural teaching hospital without an army of pharmacy specialists in every niche area, generalists like me get to do a lot. Beyond time in nephrology and internal med, I spent years in and out of informatics on teams that launched Epic at Guthrie in 2003. I spent years rounding with inpatient hematology oncology teams. We were inducing patients with leukemia. We were caring for them during bone marrow transplants. One day a week for over 15 years, I rounded on the ICU teams in medicine and trauma critical care. Since even before the imperative need for antibiotic use being improved was clear to the White House, it was clear to me. And I've been growing my skills in infectious diseases. I founded, as Mac said, and now lead our system antimicrobial stewardship program at Guthrie. As Binghamton matriculated the first pharmacy students, we at Guthrie started our PGY1, so we've been shoulder to shoulder ever since. As the residency program director, I'm proud that we offer 3 positions in a sought-out program that balances a serious focus on resident well-being with a varied, rigorous year, one that I'm pleased offers some things that I love most: learning something new every day, flexible opportunity, devoted teachers, and friendly, welcoming interdisciplinary colleagues. I counted the other day. We've hosted over 200 experiential rotations for Binghamton students since, and look forward to graduating our 4th and 5th pharmacy residents this year. 4th and 5th Binghamton alum pharmacy residents, let me qualify that. So the COVID-19 pandemic delivered one of the most recent opportunities for pharmacists to shine, not just at Guthrie, but around the world. The pharmacists at Guthrie were ahead of the curve in preparations. I stepped up and was tasked as Guthrie's lead and clinical owner of our COVID-19 management team. When the first patients with COVID-19 were admitted in our hospitals in March of 2020, we had operational electronic treatment protocols with an intense system of literature and patient review set up that featured our pharmacists as the key connection between our caregivers and the changing literature. Some health systems locally have called their experience in those early days the Wild West. And while we had no better answers, we did have a unified, consistent, best available evidence approach that we constantly adapted, communicated, and implemented as the world evolved their understanding of the disease. When a new preprint paper dropped, we read, analyzed, discussed, and were implementing within hours. This required drawing on the unique talents clinical pharmacists are well trained for. As Jason Pogue, an infectious disease clinical pharmacist, and at the time president of the Society of Infectious Disease Pharmacists, so very well said, critically assessing the totality of evidence and working with physician colleagues to make patient care decisions is quite literally what we do. We are drug therapy experts and always work to optimize care. It's what I do. One challenge we at Guthrie did not meet quickly was that of providing outpatient monoclonal antibody therapy for COVID-19. However, in the fall of 2021, I again said yes to the call and led a system team of over 100 collaborators implementing this outpatient service. I leveraged aspects of every bit of my varied experience, merging it with that of my partners. We went from big buckets of barriers to an operational clinic in 5 weeks. A month later, we were treating 100 patients a week. I'm an inpatient pharmacist. This was an outpatient clinic that we designed. Despite drug shortages, by the time Omicron prevalence led to a reduced efficacy of the therapy and resultant suspension of our clinic, we had treated well over 1,500 patients, avoided scores of admissions, and likely deaths. I was honored that our team was awarded a top 10 finish for the Hospital Association of Pennsylvania's 2022 COVID-19 Innovation Award. And that was for the way that we leveraged our skills collectively as a system to efficiently, effectively serve the community in need. Of course, mine is just one version of many, many Herculean efforts that were delivered by caregivers, including pharmacists around the world. Thank you to my colleagues who continue to serve as caregivers, researchers, communicators, educators, writers, vaccinators, reviewers, listeners, and more. Through it all, I still remember elegant picnics on the lawn at Tanglewood. I've taught my children how to identify constellations in the sky. I have a deep sense of satisfaction remembered from hard days' work on a clear June day so long ago. And I actively seek ways to pass on kindness. And I still learn something new every day. For our profession, challenges persist. I've worked more than 20 years to build a foundation under a vision of what I know is possible, the way our profession can serve side by side with our interdisciplinary colleagues, improving the care of our communities. However, the more bricks I lay, with each success an inch of progress, I realize this vision is actually one where I'm laying the foundation for you. You are our future. You will create or help the grand ideas that will solve big issues facing healthcare and our communities. Affordability, disparities, workplace shortages, mental health challenges, burnout, finding the perfect role of artificial intelligence in telepharmacy, pharmacist provider status, and more. So whether your path after pharmacy school will take you to business, residency, or fellowship, or other postgraduate training, a job in industry, science, research, management, compounding, regulatory affairs, informatics, community, ambulatory, or hospital pharmacy, academia, specialized care, or someplace else. Work hard the next 4 years. Build a strong foundation now. Seek inspiration, work together, work smart, and work hard. Say yes and embrace change. Apply creativity, look for mentors, and pay it forward. Please, please stop and savor the journey. When you walk across the stage, don't go into tunnel vision. Stop and savor that hard work that's gotten you here. Congratulations again on being here at this point today. You made it. Now keep going. Change the world.
Thank you, Dr. Williams, for those remarks. I'm J.J. Bryce, the Director of Student Affairs for the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, and I'm pleased to be here today to witness this milestone for all of our incoming students. White coat ceremonies have traditionally been used by schools of pharmacy as an outward sign of an inward personal commitment to the profession. As our students walk across the stage today, they will receive their white coat and take their first step to a lifelong commitment to the pharmacy profession. I will introduce each student, and they will proceed to the center of the stage to be coated by the following faculty members: Dr. Carrie Dwyer, a clinical assistant professor in pharmacy practice, and Dr. Anthony Hopkins, clinical assistant professor of pharmacy practice. It is also worth mentioning that Drs. Dwyer and Hopkins are members of our PharmD classes of 2021 and 2022, respectively. The comments before about students choosing to come back to our pharmacy school proves in our faculty here. Students, please stand and wait for me to call your name. Stephen Abdel Malik. Anna Aiello. Felix Ong. Ryan Baudilli. Shanice Beard. Meg Bechtel. Ariel Berger. Isabel Beyersdorfer. Winnie Chen. Shannon Crow. Mohammed Dumas. Nicholas DiMaria. Rachel Eade. Jonathan Engler. Taylor Feedy. Lindo Gentile. Eleanor Hazan. Sumaya Islam. Farhan Kamruzaman. Madison Kisak. Yi Lin. Danielle Logan. James Matthew. Tiffany Milosov. Emily Mosick. Nadine Morsi. Davin Palmer. Heer Patel. Sajni Patel. Sofia Ruggiero. Elena Smith. Catherine Torshinaud. Zachary Trolley. Kyle Weeks. Amanda Williams. Keetong Wu. Jeff Yang. Carmen Young. Cameron Zayek. Hope Zheng. Please join me in congratulating all of the students joining the class of 2027 who have received their white coats. Students, please remain standing with your candle and turn to face the audience. A part of the commitment to the pharmacy profession is to become a lifelong learner. The passing of the light of knowledge symbolizes a very real exchange between you, your mentors, faculty members, and colleagues. In your hand, you hold an unlit candle. On either side of the theater stand one P4 student and one 2023 SOPS PharmD graduate, who will impart knowledge to help you grow in the profession of pharmacy. The P4s and alum will light their candles and pass the knowledge on to you. This is just the beginning of your journey to become a pharmacist. Foster and nurture that light throughout your time here at the Binghamton University School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, and on to your career as a pharmacist. Paul and Dr. Surdy, please light your candle and begin passing the light of knowledge. Students, please turn back to face the stage, remain standing, and keep your candle lit as I invite Dr. Judy DeLuca, Associate Dean of Academic and Student Affairs and Professor of Pharmacy Practice, to the podium to lead you in the pharmacy oath. The oath is also on the back of your program for reference.
Thank you. All pharmacists in the audience, feel free to stand and recite the oath of the pharmacist with our students, and you can find the oath on the back of your program. And I'm going to ask the students, as we recite it, to really think about how these words form the foundation of your professional journey and the beginning of your professional identity. So let's read it together. I promise to devote myself, together, we're going to read it together. I'm going to start over. I promise to devote myself to a lifetime of service to others through the profession of pharmacy. In fulfilling this vow, I will consider the welfare of humanity and relief of suffering my primary concerns. I will promote inclusion, embrace diversity, and advocate for justice to advance health equity. I will apply my knowledge, experience, and skills to the best of my ability to assure optimal outcomes for all patients. I will respect and protect all personal and health information entrusted to me. I will accept the responsibility to improve my professional knowledge, expertise, and self-awareness. I will hold myself and my colleagues to the highest principles of our profession's moral, ethical, and legal conduct. I will embrace and advocate changes that improve patient care. I will utilize my knowledge, skills, experiences, and values to prepare the next generation of pharmacists. I take these vows voluntarily with the full realization of the responsibility with which I am entrusted by the public.
Students, you may now blow out your candles. This concludes the white coat ceremony for the class of 2027. Please leave here today with your white coat as the outward symbol of the lifelong commitment you have vowed to your profession and to your patients. We kindly ask that family and friends remain seated while the students and faculty recess out of the theater to the bleachers behind the theater for the class photo. Please join me in congratulating all of the students in the class of 2027.